Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Absolute pleasure to have you along. Back again after having my bone density scan and getting myself dressed again. Okay, black gold moon obsidian. So yes, so I mentioned my bracelets earlier in an earlier reading, and I forgot completely what it was. So gold moon obsidian, these two coloured ones, they were part of a necklace that belonged to my mother. So I remade them. The larger gemstones are in the jar up the top there, and we've got the amethyst as well. So that's just what I choose to wear. Now, what am I going to have a look at in this particular reading? Oh boy. Actually, interestingly enough, I was going to use the Golden Universal Tarot, but my guides are pointing me towards using the Mystical Manga cards. They are based on the manga Avatar type series. I won't say cartoons because they're not cartoons. I'll get in big trouble if I say that. But you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about manga. And I'm talking about Fleon. And if you're wondering who Fleon is the parasite on the back of the US taxpayer, also known as Space Boy, owner of, well, I won't say owner, but you know, the SpaceX, the Tesla, the Twitter guy. And the reason why I don't say owner is because the amount of debt that he carries on those particular companies, I don't think he's as wealthy as what he makes out to be. Now, because your net wealth is what you like. So, for example, if you own a home, less the mortgage you have on it, and the difference is your net wealth or your net value that you have personally in that particular asset. Okay, so what is happening? Well, Fleon, SpaceX are doing an IPO, an initial public offer. I think I got that right. On the NASDAQ coming up in June, I believe. And the way things are going, June is an awfully long way away. And what they're hoping to raise 75B with $1 billion. Now, the 75 billion would put the valuation of the company SpaceX, and remembering that he has folded into SpaceX the companies that have the military contracts, etc. So he's folded a lot of his other companies into the SpaceX package, and he's putting it on the stock exchange. So apparently if he raises $75 billion, it puts the value of the entire package at $2 trillion with a T dollars. You could buy small continents for that sort of price. However, there is concern that that is highly overvalued. So he's filed the confidential papers of trying to justify the valuation. The 75 billion would be only about 3.75% of the end value of the company. And the NASDAQ, in usual typical fashion, if you've got money, you can basically do anything, or the appearance of money. The NASDAQ usually requires an IPO of 10% of the value of a company, and he's only offering 3.75. So the NASDAQ has introduced what they call a special weighting, WEIGHTING, to bypass that 10% requirement. Also reduce the waiting period of a new company being listed as an IPO from 90 trading days. So this would be, you know, made up of five-day blocks. So it's not 90 days in total, it's 90 trading days. They've reduced it to 15 trading days, so pretty much 3 weeks. By the time June comes around, it's going to be beyond that 15 trading days. But again, the NASDAQ altered the rules. You know, what applies to me does not apply to them. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's highly overpriced, Tesla is not part of this package, but Tesla shares are valued at 13 times what the annual supposed income is. So therefore, they are considered highly overpriced already, because it would take pretty much 13 years to make back the cost of a share. Well, this valuation of SpaceX is 133 times. So if you bought a share and the income that's come in historically, because it only made 15 billion last year, with the valuation at 12 trillion, therefore the shares themselves, whatever value they sell for, it would take 133 years at a $15 billion annual profit to actually make up the value of the shares. So significantly overpriced. Now, what happened is he merged XAI, which is the one that's got the defense contracts, etc. at the moment, with SpaceX. The company is also looking at purchasing another AI programming company called, I think it's called Sencha. So XAI is the Grok chatbot, etc. Is Grok. He's also looking at, the company's looking at purchasing one that actually writes the programming for AI, and also looking at merging in Tesla after the IPO, which would bring on board not only the car company, but the robots and things like that. So, okay, this is what's happening around about June. Sorry about the big long introduction, and where I'm getting my information from is from Switzer, switzer.com.au, and msn.com. So if you just Google MUSK IPO, you'll be able to find information. Okay, this is quite interesting, looking at things from a different point of view and something being exposed. So let's get started on this reading. Apparently, there is the potential for Anthropic, which is Claude, and OpenAI to have IPOs as well in 2026. These are two other AI companies. But we are at the moment in the throes of what we would call an AI bubble. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, partnerships. Partnerships here. Now, entertainment only. So the AI bubble we're in at the moment is along similar lines for those that are old enough to remember the dot-com bubble. Okay, we've got money. Oh gosh, these are interesting cards. Big money, regret, and perhaps not working out how it was planned. Some naivety about who would invest. And then we've got, I'm just going to stop at this end of the Pentacles. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. People being a little bit more cautious with their money, I suspect. And then we've also got the Hanged Man and the Moon card. So secrets being revealed. Now what I might do is I'll just pop those to the side there. What have I done? I've put a few upside down. That's how they fell out. I'll bring you down and we'll go through all these cards. So what have we got? We've got, right, this is the IPO offer. Ace of Coins, big money, regret, so loss and regret. So we've got the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So again, financial loss, emotional loss, something that came out from the past or naive. Oh, is this Grok with its court cases? Now, I haven't looked to see in regards to the French court case whether a summons is equivalent to a subpoena. I know they call it a voluntary summons, but my feels is it's not entirely voluntary. It's basically you choose to come in voluntary, or we will bring you in. This is the card for the Epps files, the innocence of children, the dark money, the dark web potentially. Let's see where this goes. And then we've got the Queen of Coins. People reassessing. So we've started with the Ace of Coins on this line and ending with the Queen of Coins. Children on the dark web, perhaps. Wouldn't surprise me. Regret and loss here. I'm asking about his IPO. Let's see how it goes for him. So we've got that working together, but we've got the Moon card and we've got the Hanged Man. They went around this way. So viewing something differently as secrets are revealed. Now I'm going to keep going with this deck. The offer, being viewed differently as secrets are revealed. Ooh, the Fool. And walking away. Emotionally walking away. There is something dark that is going to come out between now and June that is going to have people saying, yeah, no, not interested. There will be speculation. That's my feels. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any financial decisions based on what I say. But we've got the magician, the manipulation, but also the illusion. Look over here, let's create something out of nothing. So very much creating something out of nothing. And the judgment card. Look at these major arcanas that are coming out here. Judgment, a collective awakening, a big wake up about the illusion. And the Lovers. And the Sun card. So contracts and agreements being revealed, something about, but it can also be, I'm going back to this card here, it feels seedy, let me put it that way, but there's some sort of contract here that's revealed. You've got the Queen of Cups trying to keep a lid on the situation, but the Knight of Wands bringing forward volatile information in regards to the military. Remembering that through both SpaceX, because there's lots of factors of SpaceX, and XAI, he's got these military contracts. Something to do, volatile information coming out about the military. You've got the Nine of Cups and the Two of Wands. So the be careful what you wish for can also be the greedy merchant. And Two of Wands is looking at other options about those who have feathered their nest. Nine of Pentacles. And what have we got? The Six of being seen, the Six of Wands, and the World. The ending, the Emperor, the Seven of Swords, the Steel, and you've got that Queen of Wands energy coming forward, the inspirational female, and the underlying energy with High Priestess and Tower and the inability to harvest the money. I would not be surprised if there is information that is going to come out prior to June that is going to seriously affect, and it could be to do with the dark web and young children, or entertainment only, allegedly, or election stealing. Let me just put it that way, or both. Okay, so let me have a look, because I've always seen Musk always got me for, gosh, 2 years or more now, Fleon fleeing, and I keep seeing that Argentina is going to be his location of choice. Might be Chile, but Argentina, Chile, that sort of part of the world with the, remember he was on stage with the Argentinian dude with the chainsaw, etc. Yeah, Argentina's popping up pretty strongly there, and losing his government contracts. I'm just splitting the deck and poker shuffling. Not looking at the cards, I keep seeing the High Priestess poking its head out at me, but let's have a look. So significantly overpriced for what the asset value is. And that's the problem with most of this this AI bubble. There's actually nothing behind it. It's two blokes with a couple of laptops in an office, not much different than mine. So there's no actual assets behind the float these particular companies and what they've. Oh, God, speaking of flopping out, there she is. This is the moon card. The moon. Oh, okay, I'm going to keep going. Secrets being revealed. Now, this is the strength card, but she is wearing battle armor. Something about the strength, the military. You've got the Queen of Swords, this cutting through truth happening, and then the Ace of Cups. An emotional overwhelming. What's on the top? Being seen and heard, the Six of Wands. This is also my false victory card. And then you've got the Five of Wands, the throwing under the bus, the infighting, the delusional nature with that Seven of Cups, and then the Ace of Swords. No pentacles at all. In fact, I've had very few pentacles. Page of Cups. There's the big pentacle, the ending of this is legacy. This is an ending of this oligarchical control as we go through the portal, perhaps to a simpler time. But the Page of Cups, unexpected information, emotional information coming out that will bring about an ending. And so we go from the Ten of Coins, Ten of Pentacles, so you've got 10 Pentacles, to the Page of Coins with 1. So this can be looking at new options, but this is also very much a reduction. You've got the Eight of Pentacles. This is about the last jigsaw puzzle fitting in, money trails, and the Ace of Wands and the Six of Pentacles, a reduction in value. This is also a card for cooking the books. This Eight of Pentacles. I haven't used that terminology for a long time now, but it's also a card for cooking the books. Ace of Wands, information coming out, and Six of Pentacles, the return on investment being significantly reduced, followed by the Death card. Okay. Don't, as I said, do your own research, and if you think it's a good buy, go for it. But I don't see it working very well. I don't see this IPO being very successful, mainly because it's so significantly overpriced. If anything, it'll just be a means of laundering a bit of money. But let's have a look. Oh, I'm getting cooking the books. So he's trying to get money in to pay back. Now, how much did he borrow? 44 billion or something to buy Twitter. Was that how much he borrowed? 44 billion? Or paid, or whatever he paid, and he borrowed the money off the Saudis from memory, or from Russia. I don't know where he borrowed it from. I'm not privy, but I suspect they want their money back. Let's have a look. Those two cards and that one on the top. How's this going to work out for Fleon? Right. Okay, trying to defend a position, Nine of Wands. The challenge being the King of Coins. So he's not in, he's got this fire energy as he's trying to defend the position, but the challenge for him is this King of Coins. I suspect somebody wants their money back, and that's what he's trying to raise. Going quiet, being forced to retreat with the Four of Swords. going within is the energy that he's stewing in. He has been very quiet in the past. The Ten of Wands, trying to get this across the line, trying to bring this one new plan forward, but it's just too much. It's just too much. And I was going to say too much debt, but it's just too much everything. With this Ten of Wands in the past, crowning this reading, the Ten of Pentacles, the two ending cards. What have we got under there? The Nine of Wands. So the energy's in as he's, projecting that, it's all hunky-dory and the valuations are good, etc. But the only coins we've got so far is the King of Coins, which is his obstacle, the backers wanting their money back, and the Ten of Coins, which is about an ending. Now, for those that have ever been caught out, again, more experience, years and years, decades and decades ago, was borrowing to invest when money was cheap, borrowing to invest in, this was way before the GFC, to invest in real estate and buy rental properties. And what happened is I bought one too many, and that caused the whole lot I had to sell everything. Had to sell everything to stay afloat. It's almost like he's at that stage. It's too much. Okay, the immediate future. We've got this again, this Eight of Pentacles, the cooking the books. But there's this judgment moment coming for him externally. Cooking the books, but he's getting called out. Internally, the Emperor. So we've got the Judgment next to the Emperor. Wanting to control everything, wanting to stay in control, wanting it my way or the highway in the face of this Judgment card, looking at this Judgment card. Hopes and fears, the Seven of Swords, the stealing, but being seen to be stealing. Oh gosh, there's the Devil. He's tied himself financially. He's also allegedly quite a significant, he's admitted having a tackle box of pills, various pills, but the addiction, but this is more tied himself to some sort of, the Devil will always have his due, have his pound of flesh. Three of Swords and the High Priestess. These are not good outcome cards for Fleon. Ending, Devil, Three of Swords, and the High Priestess. And then we've got loss and regret, Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. The ending of the happy, so we've got 1, 2, 3 tens on the table. Ending of the happy families, the inability to harvest the money with the Seven of Pentacles, and then it's all over. It's all over with the Death card. Just seeing what's on the bottom there. Citing the fact of him fleeing. I'm just going the Four of Wands, perhaps some sort of announcement coming out of the White House or Mar-a-Lago. The King of Wands, action being taken or some sort of ruling being made. He's on the back foot trying to defend himself. There is this dark web, this dark money, the Strength card, the Moon card, the Flee card, the trying to juggle things card with Temperance, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, emotional overwhelming, emotional breakdown, and the Ace of Swords. As Andre from Astrology Alert would say, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So just keep an eye out for that. Not good cards on either aspect for Fleon with his IPO and Fleon personally. So let's see how things play out. Okay, on that note, I shall catch you tomorrow, being Friday. Love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.